Welcome to the Longevity Forum podcast, a series on achieving longer, healthier, and more fulfilled lives for as many as possible. In this session, we're thrilled to have Brent Hoberman, co-founder and executive chairman of the Founders Factory, and Sara Pazin, CEO of Founders Health, who will discuss their new longevity initiatives with our co-founder, Jim Mellon. I'll leave the rest to you, Jim.
Thank you, Laura. Welcome, Brent and Sara. I'm very, very delighted to have you. Brent is a very old friend of mine. He is basically British tech royalty. Everyone will know his name. He's involved in multiple companies, and his annual Founders Forum, probably the most sought after invitation in the UK. So we're very grateful to have him on. And he has co-founded Founders Health, which we're going to hear about today with Sara, who has a very deep and strong background in longevity science and in wellness generally. And so I'm going to start off because I know you two you're incredibly fluent, so this is not new for you, but I'm going to start off with a first question, which is, Brent, your new initiative is called Founders Health. What exactly is the program? How did you come across this idea? What prompted you to do it? And how did you launch it?
Great. Well, I'll take the why are we going into this, and maybe I'll let Sara go into some of the specifics of what we're going to offer. So basically, Jim, its first reason to go into it is because I know you're way ahead of the pack always, Jim, and I know that you're at the forefront of longevity. So I had to take some lessons from Juvenescence and what you're doing there. Secondly, it was that I would have lots of conversations with entrepreneurs who were basically biohacking their own body chemistry and didn't have people giving them good advice. So there's clearly this huge market of people who are now at the point in their lives where they really want to take care of their health. There's also another trend, which is that longevity is more science than snake oil. In other words, it was previously just so much guesswork. And now with, I guess, big data and AI and all these things, the complexity of this stuff is, while it's nowhere near solved, it's more tangible. While I don't think there's any firm consensus in the longevity community on lots of things. A few areas where you can say, okay, this really is stuff that people should be doing. You've also got a cost thing that's happening, which is a lot of the costs are going down, obviously. So you've got the Moore's law of health. And we've seen that recently with like Daniel X Nico Health with its waitlist of 50,000 people for its £299 scanning. So I think there are lots of trends that come together. And then there's the fact that when you look at a business opportunity, you say, well, why us? You look at you say, okay, is there a huge opportunity? Yes. And then the why us is honestly that we have this connectivity to these great customers, the top entrepreneurs. They can be, and we will encourage them to be, the most difficult customers, because that will make us better. And then we start with them, and then the idea is that we can broaden it out.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. Ask Sara, by 2050, 1 in 3 people in the G7 will be over 60 years old. And scarily, by 2070, more than half of the people in the G7 will be over 65 years old. Are you seeing a sudden influx because people are getting older in longevity and health? Exactly what are you offering to your clients, who I'm sure you're garnering very many of on a daily basis? What are you offering them today, given that the science of longevity, while significantly advanced over the last 10 years, is still in relative infancy? And the best thing that we can do is hope to stay alive for the next 10 years, because then the therapies will just be outstanding and amazing and will extend our health span and possibly lifespan as well. So, Sara, if you wouldn't mind addressing that, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. So A really interesting stat that I actually heard the other day is actually around medical spending in the last 2 years of someone's life, especially for centenarians, is actually only 1/3 of the medical spending that is in the years of somebody's life who's in their 70s. So there's obviously huge benefit for us to be living a healthier life into our later years than to be starting to really suffer with complexities in our 70s. So in terms of what we're offering, it's a very comprehensive approach. We are very excited to be opening our first clinic in Belgravia later this year. It's an approach that starts with access to world-class medical experts. So we have 5 physicians on our team today that are specialized in longevity health, preventative medicine. We have oncology specialists on our team. We are doing advanced diagnostic testing, so starting with areas like whole genome sequencing, biomarker analysis. We're looking at mental well-being because it's not just about physical testing, it's also about the emotional and cognitive side. We're doing physiological performance testing and state-of-the-art imaging. So it's really a very holistic approach in terms of our testing. Then we offer scientifically led personalized interventions. So this includes both pharmaceutical interventions if required, as well as innovative therapies like the standard hyperbaric, but going into blood oxygenation, ozone therapy, therapeutic plasma exchange, and more. And then, of course, the clients that join us, it's a journey. It's not a place where you come in and you get your testing and then you're on your own for a year and you come back a year later to see how you're doing. We are working with you along that journey, and that includes continuous health monitoring. We're working with you with wearables. We're doing regular retesting and we're doing regular check-ins. So for us, the types of clients that we want to be seeing are across an entire spectrum. We want, looking at people who are looking to improve their health and optimize their health, from addressing chronic issues to enhancing cognitive and physical performance. For us, it's really about emphasizing these proven fundamentals like nutrition and exercise, but of course, we're prepared to be incorporating the emerging technologies and therapies as they're validated.
Fantastic. So back to you, Brent. In a way, the audience that you have in your various businesses is almost self-selecting for this, because they tend to be wealthier people. Obviously, they tend to be more interested in new technologies, and they probably have a greater bias towards keeping themselves healthy. So in some ways, they might appear to be the worried well, and that's a big audience. But we obviously collectively in this longevity business, and we're in a very different part of it, but we want to address the broader population as well, those who don't take care of themselves. How will your Founders Health try and get those people to get off the treadmill of unhealthy lifestyles and embrace the stuff that Sara has just been talking about?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. And I think one thing is obviously data. So we will try and collect a lot of data, like many in the space, try and understand what actually works. And then if we're doing a really good job, I guess many of the people we would hope to have as clients will be quite influential in their own way. So you would hope that they would advocate for some of these things and be sort of beacons of, this is what's happened to me before I did this, and now see how my life's changed, and use them as examples. And then, if we're successful, we can either launch our own sort of digital low-cost version or work with others to do that. So I think it's, some people sometimes look at these things which are bluntly, I guess you could use that terrible word, elite, and say, oh God, they're terrible. How can you do that? What a horrible thing. You're promoting inequality. But I actually don't think that's the case. I think what's happening is you are finding solutions that can then become lower cost and propagated much more broadly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, there will always be people who will claim that this sort of technology and this sort of service is for the elites, and what about the rest of the world? But we've got to start somewhere, and obviously, you've got to start with people who can afford to be, I wouldn't say guinea pigs, but afford to be trailblazers. So, Sara, how much would, let's say I signed up, I mean, maybe you haven't got your pricing yet, but approximately, let's say I signed up for a year of your service, how much would that cost approximately?
Yeah, so what we offer is 3 tiers of membership. So we encourage our clients to join us for the membership program, just as I had said before, to ensure that they are with us on that continual journey. So our membership includes both the testing, it includes access to the physicians and the multidisciplinary team. It gets you access to the different therapies. And it starts at 10,000 a year, and then it can go up to a very, very personalized level of treatment and therapy, which goes up to 45,000. Now, we're offering both memberships. We also recognize that in some of the earlier days, clients may just want to be joining for the diagnostic testing and then adding various components of therapies on. So we do offer the diagnostic testing as a part of the service offering as well on its own, and that's starting at around 4,000.
Would you be going after the corporate market where have a blanket service for a corporation?
Yeah, so there will be a corporate program offering, but what we are going to be doing in the early days is we're going to be opening it up initially to the Founders Network in November when our clinic opens, and then we're going to be opening up our public waitlist early next year. But yes, there will be a corporate program offering as a part of that waitlist as well.
I have to say, I think this is a fantastic thing. I have personally invested in the company. I really believe in it. And I think you've got a first-class team. And as you rightly point out, Sara, it's a journey. There is no formula that's going to be the same today for the next 10 years. It will evolve and become ever more powerful as new technologies emerge, which is, I assume, what you're going to be writing in the future. Brent, do you think of this as an add-on business or as a major business in its own right for founders?
I think you always have to look at each business as having the potential to be a major business in its own right. Absolutely. I think it's a very hard business. It's for us, it's very different to what we've done before in that it is very high touch. Most of the entrepreneurs we deal with are used to launching software solutions that are very low touch once you get to scale. So I think the answer to that question is really what are the reproducible elements of this that we can create to really help it scale beyond a high touch version with a small number of clients. And if we can crack that problem, either through a sort of protocols franchising globally or through digital products, as we said, then it can be a very big business. Otherwise, it becomes a small, very good business, but not a giant.
Yeah, well, we're obviously hoping for the former, and I'm sure that you and Sara will make it so. So please, both of you and everyone else who's listening to this, think about coming along to Longevity Week events in November. We start with a session in London, which is invite only. I hope you both will come to that. We've got a very special person of the year this year who will be speaking. It's a great place to network with fellow people in the longevity space. And then, as I was saying to Sara before you arrived, Brent, we have a day it's most of a day in Oxford where scientists unveil their latest cutting edge research in the science of longevity, which I hope will be of interest to both of you and to our listening audience. I really appreciate you both coming on the podcast. And Laura, I'm going to hand back to you.
This broadcast has been brought to you by the Longevity Forum as part of Longevity Week 2024. We are very grateful to our sponsors, M42 Health and Juvenescence. For more podcasts, visit our website, thelongevityforum.com, or follow us on Twitter, longevity_forum.